Well, Tony, you actually went first on Band Aid. Even after that long night, they called on you, Bob Geldof called on you to go first. What was that like?
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, it was an amazing day. I mean, as Gary said, we'd been out with the Duranes the night before. We arrived at the airport. There's all the press and fans there and stuff. And then when we got there, there's all your contemporaries there and all fellow musicians and singers, and we're all in the control room. And everyone, you're nervous in those situations. And of course, Gobby Geldof goes, "Go on, Edley, go down there," in an Irish accent. I can't do the accent. And so what do? You go down there, and 2 takes and it was done. So,
to be fair,
it was great.
To be fair, Tone, I thought it was an excellent decision by Bob because you're the best singer of the generation.
Yeah. I never said that.
Actually, I remember us all being in that studio and thinking this was amazing. Wow, all of these, great, world global powers in music business all in the same room. And then we all thought, but why is that weird little post-punk Irish group sitting there too? And because, of course, at that time, Bono and U2 hadn't really been reborn.
It was a very I got to say, it was a very, very English affair. Though. It was like a cup of tea and a biscuit and a sausage roll and a chicken drumstick. That's what it was. There was no great fanfare. It was people on a Sunday morning doing what they thought was going to be something for a good cause.
There was no precedent for the Band Aid record. Never before in music had so many bands got together to make a difference. I mean, for me, I always said it was our generation's Woodstock. And, Woodstock was a fantastic event, but no one sort of made any money out of it or helped anyone else until many years later. Band Aid was extraordinary like that. I mean, I think the concept of charity records, bands doing stuff for charity, whatever it may be, is now so ingrained in the world. This was something totally new, and we didn't quite know what to expect, and I think it really set a precedent.
Because we flew back from Germany, not with Duran, but in 2 separate planes, and of course we were really eager to land at Heathrow before their plane was, and then we had this big Daimler Princess kind of Rolls-Royce kind of car, waiting for us on the tarmac, which took us down to the studio. And as Martin says in the film, Bananarama turned up in their mate's car. And I remember getting out of this Daimler Princess, all the press were there and the photographers. And I saw Sting walking around the corner with a rolled-up newspaper under his arm in an old Mac. And I thought, bollocks, what really... He's obviously got his limo parked around the corner, but,
And Paul Weller took the bus there,
humility wasn't our thing.
But there's moments in your life when, like the recording of the Live Aid single and the Live Aid show, when you know that you're doing something special. And I think it was one of those days that we knew we were in the midst of something that was going to be remembered for a long time.
Extraordinary. And I think everyone felt if we saved one single life, and it was all good.
Well, continuing on that, Live Aid was one of your best performances ever, and the crowd was just so in love with you. You played true. In the documentary, I think it was Steve that took some behind-the-scenes footage of you arriving in a helicopter and during, watching some from backstage. I've never seen backstage footage from Live Aid, so that was really special.
Yeah, there were some people on it that actually didn't like the fact that there was... Back then, cameras were huge. Those sort of like that now, there's your phone, isn't it? But back then they were huge. And not everyone sort of bought into it. I think there was you have to respect people's privacy, but thank God that we did occasionally, because that footage wouldn't have existed. And it reminds me of Martin had the foresight actually of when we got back together 4 years ago, and we hadn't been in a rehearsal studio together. You think that you just keep that private to yourself and kind of get back in gradually and tentatively. But Martin set up a camera in the corner. And that became a real sort of real golden moment of the film. Of you can actually see us sort of reconnecting again and gradually drawing into our little inner circle, which we lost like 20 years before.
I think that's some of the magic stuff. I mean, there's stuff in the film that we hadn't seen for 35 years. No one had seen stuff we discovered. And as you say, the backstage stuff at Live Aid, that's new to the world as of yesterday.
And the Underground Club. That was... Sorry, Mark.
No, I was just going to say, I remember clearly that backstage at Live Aid, cameras weren't allowed. So that's why you haven't seen it before. But listen, check the movie out, and it's there.
Steve's under investigation.
I have actually got some other footage which didn't make the movie, but...